Hello folks, this is your host Ozzy, and this podcast is going to be a thought piece on company culture and why we have launched CultureBoom.co. Enjoy! So the way I see it, culture is the second most important problem of a startup after finding product market fit. So I think there's a lot of value in being kind of humble here. The culture is not the most important problem. It is a very important problem, but product market fit, I think, takes precedence here, because if there is no product market fit, it means there is no sales, no revenue, no growth, and no company. So culture is the most important thing after you have established that there is a company and there is some revenue. Many businesses fail because of their culture. If you take a look at the reasons why startup fails, in the second or third position in that list, you're going to find people decisions. It is either about recruitment, either about picking wrong partners for the business, and even a toxic company culture. So this is the problem that CultureBoom.co is trying to solve. The approach to solving this problem is unique in some way. Rather than approaching it as a consultancy service, CultureBoom is a productized solution. What this means is there is a model, a tried and tested model that has come about after working with tens of clients and helping their culture challenges. So I'm going to tell about this model, but before that, I want to answer a few questions that I think are related to culture. And the first one is, why is there a need for a product like this in the first place? Who would use it? What is the actual product? Why me and why now? So I'm going to try to answer those questions in the following 10 minutes. So the need for a culture building product. As I said, the first issue of a startup is to validate the product market fit. This ensures the scalability and eventual profitability of the business. But the second issue, the biggest important second issue, is building the right company culture. This includes anything people and organization related. And there is a good time and a bad time for focusing on company culture. In my observation and in my studies with companies, the best time I've observed is usually after 10 employees and under 50 employees. So 10 to 50 seems to be the best time to get the best results. This is the time where the company organizational culture is still flexible enough, and it's also the time where the company has the resources to deliberately think about and focus on company culture building. So there are some key aspects of people and culture to really appreciate the effect culture has on business, and also to distinguish what we mean by culture in this context. I'm going to list some of the important effects and dimensions of culture. So the first one is, it is your overall hiring strategy. It is also, second one, capacity to make correct individual hiring decisions. Third is the onboarding and orientation of new recruits. The fourth is setting the right new parameters of autonomy, mastery, and purpose for the company. The fifth is about goal setting and aligning company goals with the individual goals. It is also about feedback and performance management, sense of belonging and meaning to the organization, holding crucial conversations, and resilience, especially in conflicts and disagreements. It's also about complex problem solving as a team, and it is about anything that speaks to the company's idiosyncratic way of doing things. So to sum up, culture is the overarching concept that includes all parts of the business that has to do with people and how they communicate and work together. So who is it for? CultureBoom is a productized solution, as I have mentioned, and it is for founders and leaders of Scaleups that have reached 10 plus people but have no time and or a very limited budget for culture building actions. So the general persona, the trend I've observed is founders of tech companies especially, and startups that have grown well, know and understand the value of building culture because they have experienced the problems that come along with not addressing it. So they know the value of it, they know the importance of it, but they simply don't know which moves to make first and how to just kickstart their process of focusing on culture. So CultureBoom.co comes in at this stage. It's not designed to be your final culture move for the company, but it's designed to be the first to kickstart your culture building efforts in a more deliberate way. This brings us to the third question: what is the actual product? So it is a model that uses a 3-stage approach. The first stage is to take the test. The test is designed to be filled in by the founders or the leaders of the organization, and it takes around 10 minutes, and it helps us gather the necessary data to create your culture KCIs and the culture playbook. So in the second stage, you get a box. This is essentially a starter's kit. Within this box, there are 3 things. The first one is the full report of your key culture indicators, analyzed in a very clear to understand way. The aim here is to make it concrete. Something that is otherwise very abstract. Culture can be a very abstract concept. By bringing in KCIs and measurable data, we make it very concrete, and then it comes into the conversation in a much more valid and relevant way. And it is possible to set goals around those when we are able to measure them. The second thing is the culture playbook. The culture playbook is a bespoke recommended actions, culture goals, rituals, guidance, and resources list. This is in truth, this is something that needs to be written, or have already been written by the company founders or the leaders of that organization. But unfortunately, 99% of them don't. So this is, again, designed to be a starting point. This is the first iteration of your company culture playbook, and it is designed to be improved upon as you think more deliberately about your company culture. This also includes tailored examples and best practices from your competitors and industry leaders. The third thing in the box, this starter's kit I've been talking about, is a 6 one-on-one consultation session credit. So these credits are to be used with people and culture experts to allow you to ask anything, discuss specific events, situations or problems from your company, talk tactics on topics from hiring to motivation. And this concludes the second stage of the model. And the third stage is more about your company promotion. So we tailor a bespoke editorial for your company culture and telling the story of its growth and improvement. And also this is complemented with a special podcast here, right here on this channel, in which we interview the company founders and ask what has worked for them, what hasn't, and use their tips and tricks for the future users of this product and other people who want to generate value from it, even if they don't use CultureBoom. So I think it's worthwhile to talk about why us, or why me, the founder of CultureBoom in this case. I'm a maker. I don't have a 3D printer. I don't do open source hardware or engineering projects, but I still dare to call myself a maker because I believe in the ethos, the basic principles of that community, which is shared learning and the joy of creating something. But I make different things, as I've said, mostly books. I've written 5 books to date. I've worked in different organizations as a recruiter, as an executive consultant, as a market researcher, and as an HR business partner. So I know the background of the business and the HR specific variables that companies face at different stages. But most importantly, for the last 3 years, I've been working as an entrepreneur. I've launched 2 startups to date. One of them has failed, almost failed. It's in hibernation, I would better say. And the other one is growing great. It has generated generated great revenue and great profitability in the last years. So being in the world of startups, this has given me a unique perspective. So I both know HR. I work around human behavior as a graduate of sociology and psychology, and at the same time I work with startups. So this makes me a good candidate to talk about those things and be a good consultant that's actually able to help companies navigate their complex problems in people and culture. Now to the final question. Let's talk about why now. A big change is happening, and one aspect of this change is there needs to be better machine-human integration if companies are to create value. So AI, machine learning, and lots of automation is there to help. But what this means is we need better engineers, and most importantly, people are going to use these products to create value. So there needs to be good human-machine integration for people to be actually able to use what is on offer to create value for their clients. This also means we are building more complex systems, and one of these systems is a company. So company is like a very complex structure. It is like an organization, and just as human-machine integration is important, the human-to-human integration, which is the culture, is the most important thing for a company to be able to scale their value creation. A more robust culture a startup has, the better its chances of competing with its competitors. So startups being a fairly recent phenomena, Paul Graham, the founder of Y Combinator, tells in his iconic essay about the scalability of a startup growing fast as one of the most important things. So we also know from lots of research and lots of wisdom gathered in this area is good products solve a problem whose time has come. For such a product like CultureBoom to be able to exist, there needs to be enough of a market. This has two aspects: the size of the market and enough of an appetite in the target personas, mostly founders, has to be there. This also implies there needs to be enough people who have experienced the problems and challenges around building a startup culture, so something like this can actually work and it can establish a product market fit. So this is why I think 2019 is such a great time to focus on a solution like this. So if you're the right persona, get in touch with us. If you're not, and if you know one of these right personas, feel free to share what I've been talking about, including the website. That's it for today. Thank you for listening and have a great week.